So I think as we have or even start some of these conversations, one of the first questions that come up is, can we implement some of these ideas and create outcomes in a complex environment? And I think when we are talking about complex environments, one of the most complex environments you can have is when we are dealing with the government. So the next presentation is quite timely to just address that question head on. The team at TechMent has actually been working on projects where they have been using data and analytics and AI to help the government. So Ryan, please take it from here.
Absolutely. How's everybody doing? Can you hear me okay? Awesome. So first off, the irony is not lost on me doing a presentation on digital modernization with some analog notes. So I just couldn't read my phone well enough to have my phone up here for support. So my name is Ryan Palm. I'm a senior sales manager with Techment Technology. We are a 13-year-old company, and we operate in the US and India. We are also a Microsoft Solutions Partner. We recently gained our Solutions Partner status with our badges in data and AI. TechMent started as a focused talent enablement initiative, and it quickly grew to over 200 employees operating in both the US and India, delivering enterprise-grade digital solutions. And so today what we're going to talk about is a project that we engaged where we were contacted by kind of a middle provider, and they support local and county governments on a number of different technology initiatives and data modernization projects. So TechMint started working with this company to help local governments modernize some of their most complex and important responsibilities. The company is about 30 years old, and they work closely with those organizations to help governments operate more efficiently. And one of the things that they came to us for was for a solution, and we were able to take that solution engagement and really transform it into a long-term technology partnership. And they remain one of our most valuable partners to this day. So here we can see the different areas that this particular company works with. So property taxes, tax appeals, land records, and then of course GovTech SaaS. This is a 30-year-old company. So what are the current business challenges that governments face? None of this is going to be a surprise if you've ever worked with government accounts or if you've ever dealt with government entities. So a lot of the things that they face are similar challenges across governments all across the country. And what they found was that property taxes and workers' compensation programs, they're vital to how the governments operate and function. They are worked to fund schools, roads, emergency services, and other critical public assets. But managing those systems is difficult, and many of them still rely on things like outdated legacy software, fragmented data, siloed GIS, parcel, and land records. They cause 50+% of sync errors. Manual appraisal process, it's laborious, it's time consuming, and oftentimes it requires a lot of manual revision by staff and personnel within the government once it's been done, finding errors, fact checking, and trying to make sure that everything is accurate. If you've ever filed a tax appeal, how many of you think it was an enjoyable process? Nobody, right? So this is something that they were focused on to try and make it a better process for their constituents within their counties. There's no portal for appeals. So if you ever wanted to make an appeal, we needed to be able to develop a portal. They faced challenges like cloud immaturity, slow data pipelines, manual reporting with 30 to 45% longer processing, and really no real-time insights. If you ever wanted to find an issue, you had to know what you were looking for and go in and actually find it. So what stood between legacy government systems and modern scalable platforms were these specific challenges. So the problem was it makes everyday work for staff frustrating, and it even makes the problem more frustrating for citizens, especially when it came to things like assessments. So through consultative discussion, TechMint was able to identify that the challenge wasn't just the technology, it really came down to trust, accuracy, and transparency within the organization and the technology that they were utilizing. So what the client provided to us was a GovTech company that built modern platforms to simplify and improve processes. At a high level, their systems help the agencies keep accurate records of properties. It also helps them determine fair property values for their constituents. And it also helps them keep land parcel maps in sync. They provide digital portals, etc. So improving the citizen experience, one important area of focus for us was platform modernization. So we migrated legacy common modules to microservices, AI and ML Copilot, so we helped ML models for property valuation, prediction, and anomaly detection. That was one of the most important components, and it had a cascade effect throughout this project. So what we found was that we helped the platform include tools to help spot errors through AI and ML, improve the accuracy of property valuations, and reduce the need for manual reviews. By using AI analytics and automated checks, it freed up their staff to be able to focus on exceptions instead of having to review every single record and every single appeal. We also focused on cloud and SaaS engineerings. So multi-tenant Azure SaaS with 99% time and cost optimization, GIS and data integration. So real-time parcel sync between GIS, tax, and deed management systems. Real-time was really important. It enabled everything to move faster, to stop downtime, and to free up staff. And then, of course, the Citizen Appeal Portal. So cloud-native, ADA-compliant self-service portal for things like property appeals. So the big question is, what is the impact? We started this project really just expecting a pretty simple modernization workflow, but what we found was that it was much deeper than that. There were many more systems, there were many more challenges within their ecosystem that they needed to address. And we were able to impact some really serious numbers for improvement. 40 to 60% faster appeals processing once the system was implemented. 20 to 30% higher valuation accuracy through the use of AI. 99.9% platform uptime with SaaS. And a reduction in 50+% fewer parcel sync errors. So the different capabilities when we get into them are, for example, platform engineering. So legacy migration time was reduced by 50%, faster API response times, and future-ready microservices architecture. For data and engineering, 30 to 45% lower processing time, real-time dashboards for county administrators to be able to go in and see what was going on in their ecosystem live. Through AI and ML, as well as Copilot, we saw a 40% reduction in appraisal errors. We saw less manual review, and most importantly, fewer appeals were processed once these systems went in place. So we knew that the work was good, and we knew that the product was doing what it was supposed to because we saw fewer appeals being filed. Cloud platform reliability, again, we talk about what the uptime is. That reliability was crucial for our customer because downtime is just not something that they can have. We had to have a real talk about SLA with regards to platform uptime. So another thing is the digital experience, and this is going to the citizen portal. So on those fewer appeals, of those 60% were faster resolutions, and we had a higher citizen satisfaction through polling, plus ADA ready. So what is Techment's role in the entire process? So we were able to engage in a long-term engineering project. So rather than a one-time project, we took this client from saying, hey, can you build us a solution to, can you become our technology partner long-term? And that's really where the win-win came into play for Techment and for our customer. We are still their partner. We still hold quarterly business reviews with them to go over the product and to talk about road mapping for future products, particularly things like agentic AI. It's a buzzword. Everybody wants to talk about how do we implement agentic AI. And a lot of times there has to be a conversation about what that is and what that means to the customer. Because if you ask 6 different businesses, what is agentic AI? You're probably going to get 6 different answers, right? So it's really important to hold those conversations, to be diligent in your discovery, and to understand what those words mean to your client and what they mean to you as a services provider. So Our work spanned improving system reliability, microservices architecture and scalable infrastructure, data analytics with real-time dashboards, quality checks, better informed decisions, and of course the citizen experience. This has been a multi-year partnership focused on long-term outcomes and not short-term fixes. And the thing about this is those improvements, they're going to fluctuate, right? So it's an ongoing work project with the client to make sure that those results stay high, that the percentages stay where they need to be. So we could have easily taken this one-time project and walked away happy, but the client showed interest in finding a partner and not just a vendor, and it showed that they were interested not just in a modernization project, but building an AI-ready foundation for their customers. The project shows what's possible when modern digital platforms are applied to public sector challenges. Working in government and doing tech enablement, tech modernization for government entities, it can be a bear, right? And that's where you really have to make sure that you understand the challenges that face your client, the client's end users, so on and so forth. But what's equally important is that it shows what happens when you go into a client engagement with the intention of listening to understand and not listening to respond, or not just listening to issue a proposal and say, hey, we delivered something, right? Do you want to sign on the dotted line? Understanding the client needs were paramount. We were proud to support this transformation project alongside this leader in government technology, and we are more excited to bring what we learned from this project to future partnerships and to future entities moving into the future as well. So I appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you enjoy the conference.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Any questions for Ryan?
First part of the question was, how did we land the project, right? So the project was not directly with the government entity. The project was with the technology partner that supplies their services to the government entities. So our relationship wasn't directly with governments. Our relationship was with the technology provider that supports those governments. And they were seeking a partner that had the tools to enable these modernization changes, which was where we came into play. And what easily could have been just a project-based pricing model, because we're going to talk about pricing models in our roundtables here in just a little bit, really became a hybrid pricing model. So it not only was project-based, but it also included long-term support pricing model as well. So that not only was the revenue from the project that was super important for our company, but it's also the ongoing revenue from the support and the continued modernization and the continued project development for them moving forward. What was the second part of your question? There's always objections, right? Anytime you deal, whether you're dealing with a government agency or whether you're dealing with a potential technology partner, there's always going to be objections. So this particular project involved multiple reviews of solutions, multiple reviews of not just the solution that was being provided, but our tech stack as well. So those objections were overcome just through conversation, discovery, and listening.